For Novak Djokovic's fourth round win against Jiri Lehecka. He came through today 6-3, 6-4, 7-6. Another really strong performance by Djokovic, backing up his last win against Machak with another really strong performance against a top 30 player. Now, the first two sets were quite interesting. Obviously, Jiri Lehecka is a very strong player. He came into this event having won Brisbane. So he was really in a lot of form. He'd kind of got through to the fourth round without any huge issues, really. So he was playing in Australia without having lost a match this year in his new season, and looking really good. So Djokovic would have expected a really tough match, and he didn't really get that in the first two sets. So he was kind of relying more on Jiri to make mistakes, and Djokovic's ground strokes were proving strong enough to kind of extract those mistakes from Jiri Lehecka. Now, what's kind of noticeable for me for Djokovic in the last couple of matches is that his ground strokes are getting much better depth. So in the first couple of round matches, he wasn't really hitting that baseline. They were falling 3, 4, 5 inches short of the baseline, which means the opponents have a better chance to attack, but also it's an easier position for them to defend. They're not so much in a hurry. But when Djokovic finds that baseline, it forces the opponents to really rush onto their shots, because before you know it, they're playing the shot off their toes, and it makes it really difficult for them to defend, but also to attack. So Djokovic was kind of taking a central position in the baseline, and was basically wearing Jiri Lehecka down in the first two sets, and backing it up with solid serving. So in the first two sets, Djokovic didn't even face a single break point and wasn't broken at all, and was playing pretty comfortably. This match was also good because Djokovic didn't really have the dip that he's had in the first three matches, whether it's an illness or an injury. He's kind of had a dip for 20-30 minutes in the previous three matches. Today, he kind of kept that intensity going throughout the duration of the match. And it was a good thing that he did so, because in the third set, Jiri Lehecka really raised his game. So he was now really kind of attacking the ball. He was moving better. And now he was kind of doing what Djokovic was doing to him, and was moving Djokovic around. So this was a real big test, because I thought Jiri Lehecka in the third set played some really strong tennis. In fact, I would probably say going into the final set tiebreak, he was actually creating the more chances. So he was now creating break points. He broke Djokovic. Djokovic had an early break against Lehecka. So Lehecka got that break back. He was then also pushing for more breaks, and was really, I felt he was actually the stronger player in that third set. But Djokovic was still playing well. You know, he didn't kind of fall, but the difference was that Jiri Lehecka was now also playing well. So it became a high-level third set that, the much stronger than the first two, because Djokovic was in pretty much control of that. So the other thing that was really positive for Djokovic in this set was his anticipation. Now, when you haven't played competitive high-level tennis for a while, you lose the anticipation, and that is basically reading the game. Where are the opponents hitting their shots? Where are their ground strokes going? Where are their volleys going? Where are their smashes going? And Djokovic seemed to pick up and read Lehecka's shots really well. So even though Lehecka was now really timing the ball well and hitting it well, Djokovic was reading it well. And there was a point in the tie break, I think, when Djokovic went 3-1 up. It was kind of vintage Djokovic, where he was in clutch mode, but he read 4 or 5 shots from Lehecka, which could have been winners if he didn't read, because there was a smash, there was a volley, there was a shot on the baseline, a shot where he pulled him in. Djokovic read all of them, and he kind of finished it with a half volley cross court, which Lehecka didn't read. He thought Djokovic was going to go up the line and hit a winner, and Djokovic enjoyed that. He kind of gestured to the crowd, and he really enjoyed that. And that's when you kind of know Djokovic is really motoring. So yeah, really positive. All those people that were saying he's finished, his legs are gone, and he can't play against top players anymore, and the usual suspects they've all kind of gone back in their box at the moment, because Djokovic is showing that he's still very much got that level, and on his day he can still beat anyone on the planet. I still believe that when Djokovic is at the best, no one can touch him. So so that's really, really encouraging. The things that he needs to improve on that were not so good, there were a couple of things. So his breakpoint conversion. Now, Djokovic's breakpoint conversion last year was a little bit low, and this year as well, it's kind of operating at about 30-35%. Now, I think Djokovic's career average is in the 40s, so that's kind of come down a little bit, and I don't know if that's anything to do with mindset, because I know sometimes, you know, on a break point, I think there's two ways you can go it. You can either you know, some coach will say on a break point, just stay in the point, because the opponents are under pressure, and you know, if you can just stay in the point, they'll make the mistake. But I don't agree with that. I agree with what other coaches will say, is that you've got to win every point and play every point to win it, not to defend it. And you kind of, you hear that term in boxing a lot, where, you know, people are kind of waiting for a mistake and are defending. Sometimes you've got to go for that knockout punch. And I think when the break point is on, you've got to also remember that the players that are actually facing the break point tend to get a little bit tight. Now, if you're tight, you tend to be a little bit defensive as well, because they're going to be feeling the pressure. So I think it's a great opportunity for someone to really go after and attack it, and especially with Djokovic, the best returner of the game. You know, I would like to see him on second serves, on break points, to really go for the winner, go for an outright winner. You know, if you don't hit the first round winner on the first shot, if you hit a really good shot, you're going to be in control of that rally, and hopefully go on and convert the break point. So that's the only thing that I would like to see Andy Murray and Djokovic work on, is just his mindset on break points, and whether to go defensive or positive. I'd like to see him to be a little bit more positive and get that break point conversion rate up to about 40 or 50%, because that's where it needs to be against Carlos Alcaraz. You know, if he is to then go on and beat Alcaraz and have a good chance to beat him, because Alcaraz obviously is you know, one of the world's top players right now. And the only other negative really from today was a little bit too many unforced errors for my liking, particularly on the backhand side. I thought he played well on the forehand. I thought there was a few errors on the backhand side. Again, you know, he's hitting more winners than enforced errors, so it's just picking a little bit. But, you know, as I said, 8 or 8.5 out of 10. For him to beat Alcaraz, I believe he needs to lift his level up to about a 9 out of 10. So that I would like to see a little bit more first serves in. He's got a really good first serve percentage of points won. If he can get his serve going against Alcaraz, that's going to be key. It's going to be a really energy sapping match. So 3 points are going to be really, really important for Djokovic. He doesn't want to be doing 20-30 rallies with Alcaraz, especially when he had some respiratory issues in his last match as well. But he's in good shape. You know, he's moving up the gears, and this is what Djokovic does. You know, this is what he tells us he does. He wants to peak as the tournament goes on, and every single match that he's played, he seems to be getting better and better and more consistent. And he's got a couple of days now. You know, he's not going to get much rest. You know, he would playing late. He'll have a rest tomorrow, but then he's going to be back on against Alcaraz. It's probably going to be the night match on Tuesday, and you know, hopefully he has enough rest. But you know, it's a big step up. But I think Djokovic has now got that confidence. He's got 4 wins. The last 2 wins against top 30 players have been in straight sets, so he knows he's playing well. Today there wasn't any sign of any illness or injuries that he's had in the last kind of couple of games, so that would give him some confidence as well, that he is doing okay physically. And if you're feeling physically well, you feel mentally better as well. So so yeah, overall, really pleased with today's win. Djokovic makes another quarterfinal. It's just a shame, really, that this isn't the final, because, you know, I've said before as well, I think if Djokovic plays at his best and Alcaraz plays at his best, they are the number 1 and 2 in the world, and it would have been great for it to be a final for me. But it is what it is. You know, it is what it is, and you know, it's a quarterfinal match. But looking forward to it. So, you know, hopefully he's going to have loads of support. Today was amazing to see so many Serbian flags and so much support he got. You know, he appreciates it a lot, and it's great to see from us watching afar as well. So yeah, Novak, if you're listening, you're probably not. I hope you're resting and sleeping, but really pleased today with your performance. Keep going. You know, we've got your back. Don't worry about stuff that's going on off the court. We'll cover that for you. You focus on stuff on court, and good luck with your match against Alcaraz, and congratulations on a great win today. Eat 'em all!